ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಇವಾಗ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ?
ತಡೀರಿ, ಇನ್ನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ.
ಯಾಕೋ Good morning, everyone. Happy World Entrepreneurs Day. World Entrepreneurs Day is the day which is very important to be known in today's world, especially for the youth. We, ME-RIISE, on the occasion of World Entrepreneurs Day, has organized this talk with a prominent and substantial resource person to give valuable information. Malnad Enclave for Research, Innovation, Incubation, Startup and Entrepreneurship, an official wing of Malnad College of Engineering and entrepreneurial organization, has been working towards the development of the students and facilitating the young entrepreneurs with whatever help they need, with all the support and guidance by our respected Dr. A. Geeta Kiran ma'am, coordinator, ME-RIISE, head of the department, computer science and engineering, all the time. Today, we are adding one more successful work to the list of our events. I would like to welcome Soumya, member ME-RIISE, to welcome the gathering.
A very good morning to all. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all. Firstly, I would like to welcome Dr. A. Geeta Kiran, Coordinator ME-RIISE and Head of the Department Computer Science and Engineering. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Soumya.
It is my pleasure to welcome such a great personality as a resource person, Mr. Johnson Tellis, Director in Unity and CEO of Technical Career Education Limited. Welcome you, sir. And I and I would like to welcome you all to this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumya. We are witnessing the talk on World Entrepreneurs Day. I would welcome Nikhilesh, member ME-RIISE from Computer Science and Engineering, to give a brief about World Entrepreneurs Day.
So today we are celebrating World Entrepreneurs Day, and an entrepreneur by definition is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoying most of the rewards. If we think what's on top of everyone's mind now, right now or any time, if we dig in deep, everyone might say problems. Everyone has problems, even the society has a lot of problems. So the need of the hour is the problem solvers. And entrepreneurs and engineers are the problem solvers who not only solve the problems but also make our lives easier. So today we are celebrating World Entrepreneurs Day on 21st August to create awareness and encourage every individual to take up entrepreneurship and solve the problems of the society. I hope this event will be a successful one and encourage many people who are attending this event to take up or at least try the path of entrepreneurship. Thank you, Bindu.
Thank you, Nikhilesh. Whatever event we do, whatever the workshops we conduct, we brief about the event or the resource person in prior to make everyone who are attending the event to be more informative about what we are doing. Our respected Geeta Kiran ma'am does this very well all the time, and I would welcome her to brief about the resource person of the today's event.
Thank you, Bindu. A very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you all for making it to this event. I am delighted to welcome Mr. Johnson Tellis in the celebration of World Entrepreneurs Day. Having known Johnson for around 5 years, I must share every time I happen to speak to him, I witness the zeal he has in bringing a phenomenal transformation in the education ecosystem. He is an entrepreneur who took the challenge of nurturing the young minds, orienting them towards building their own career through community centric education and social innovation program. He is the CEO of Technical Career Education and co founder of Immunity LLP, where he envisions in empowering the youth with entrepreneurial mindset. His vision is not just transforming the education industry through innovation and solving societal problems, but building a greater economy, create jobs, enhance prosperity, and rise up this Z generation of youths. Johnson Tellis is also a member of advisory panel of KDM. KDM is Karnataka Digital Economy Mission and task force member at Global Academy for Mass Entrepreneurship, that is shortly called as GAME. He is also the member of Governing Council at Sahyadri College of Engineering and Management, Mangaluru. Above all, he is a great orator, which you are going to witness now, whose eloquence will keep us gazing at his narration. He is here with us today to share his experiences, drive you all in bringing a revolution for the generations to come through innovation. It's a great pleasure to have you with us today, Johnson. Welcome you to our event. Participants, please make best use of this valuable time. Thank you all. We are really blessed to have you, Johnson, here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We have seen Johnson sir coming to our college organization to help us always, and he has been so supportive with whatever help we ask for our betterment. So it's our immense pleasure to have him today. Uh, we are happy to have you here, sir, and we are waiting to listen to your words. So the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot. Hope I'm audible to all of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there will be some technical glitches, but because we are all engineers, so let us try to and then just focus on the things that are really intended to be done. Okay, so before we start, it's a nice thing that we have a day that recognizes all entrepreneurs. So it is very interesting that there is a limelight that is shed on the people who are taking the most risk. And I'm going to share, and I'm going to split my talk into possibly three parts. The first part is where I want to focus a little more on what these entrepreneurs set out to do. Why are they a different species altogether? And what's interesting about these folks who want to plunge into something that is too risky. Then the second part, I would want to focus a little on how we can be entrepreneurial. Even if you don't want to build an enterprise of your own, what are those steps that we can take, and what is the journey like that we can imbibe to be more or less like an entrepreneur. You don't have to build a business by the end of the day, but then you can also become a little more entrepreneurial, like those who love to take risks. And the last part is where I would want to share a little bit about the journey that we have taken. I will quickly run through some images, and then we will have some discussion. So I'll keep the talk short, maybe not more than 20-25 minutes. So before I start, I just want to quickly give you a small task, and I want to listen from if you guys have access to chat. I just want to quickly make you go through one simple task. Are you guys there? So just you can chat with me in call messages. I want to just see. Yes, 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 you can type if you guys are there, and I'll just quickly okay, cool. So yes, yes, cool. So the first thing that I want to do is I want you to identify the logo, and then perhaps you can just type, or you can just unmute yourself and say, what does this logo stand for? Are you ready? Again, yes, yes, no, no, wait a minute, and so on.
Yes, yes.
Good. So here's the first logo. I want you guys to identify it quickly. I want to know who is the first person to, the fastest fingers. So here's the first logo. Okay, so anybody who can figure out what these logos are, even if you could name it. Yes, Tata is the first one. Mayura, you're the first person to type it. But the second one?
Starbucks, Nike.
No. You have to go it in the order. The top from the left to right. Okay, Narayana Hridayalaya. Absolutely right. Which is the third one? The name itself suggests. Third one? Jaipur.
It's the Jaipur food only.
Yeah. Okay. Starbucks is right. Nike is right. Okay. So now, again, going back to the first question, what do these logos stand for? So Tata. I mean, why did they start Tata? What was the whole purpose that the founders had in mind when they started Tata? What did they see? First thing, we all recognize the logos, but yeah, steel. But why, Mayura? Why steel industry? Why steel industry? Anybody? Right. Right. No, it's not due to the demand, but then they found that no, steel was not in it was in demand, but one thing that they found is that in the Western countries when they were going through industrial revolution, the steel industry was the one which kind of told everybody that this nation is stronger in terms of its economy because of steel. And then the Tatas found that if India was trying to have its own manufacturing unit for steel, then it can also become one of those superpowers. So that was the vision behind starting a steel industry. India did not have its own mining, it did not have its own manufacturing plant, refining plants. So they took the plunge of getting into building steel for India, thereby bringing India in the world map. The second one, Narayan Healthcare, Narayana Hridayalaya. Anybody? Just one sentence, one sentence. Best cardiac treatment, but here's a twist that they don't. I mean, they do it for the premium category of people also, but their most focus is on the ones with affordable care. Absolutely, absolutely, Srinivas. Then Jaipur food. Jaipur food. What was the
Actually,
whole?
we have taken up a course from Swayam. It is called Design Technology and Innovation. In that, we had a topic called Jaipur food. So from that, they said that in order to make this Jaipur food available to all the local people or commoners who pass through the streets and everything, before had American and Germany people they used to invent it, and those things didn't match to the people, so they designed a prosthetic food called Jaipur food in order to all the people to get access to that food. That is why they started.
It's also interesting to see the purpose with which they build affordable prosthetic limbs is to also make sure that the people who have lost the limbs, they become a part of the society. Usually when we have disabilities or people with disabilities amongst us, we don't feel like we feel that they're different, and usually we feel sympathetic about them, but we don't kind of have inclusivity. We don't make them a part of our communities, we don't make them a part of our work. Just look at around, how many disabled people do you have in your campus, or how many IT industries that you see have got disabled people in them. Does it mean that they are not intellectual? They are, right? But it is not quite obvious to have inclusivity. We don't involve them just as how we make friends with others who are completely able. So Jaipur Foods mission was to bring them back into the society, make them inclusive, and most of them who could not afford these prosthetic limbs, Jaipur Food was the answer, and today they export it to Western countries as well for those who have lost limbs in the wars, etc. Okay, Starbucks. What is the whole intention of Howard Schultz? Starbucks, anybody? What did they want to build? They did not want to just build a coffee. The people did know about coffee, but then he brought that entire Italian freshly brewed coffee. Absolutely. But what was the intention? He wanted to build Starbucks as a different feel altogether. So, anybody who knows the whole story about what they intended to build?
Starbucks created a third place where it was
Right,
between
right.
home and work where people can relax.
True. Monisha, is it? Absolutely.
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay. So Starbucks was the place which Howard Schultz wanted to build. That's a place between office and home. It's a place where they felt they could be whoever they want. They wanted to have that space where people come together and spend some quality time without having the tension of their work or of their home. So that's the space that Starbucks wanted to become. And Nike, Phil Knight, when he started building it, you know, he built a footwear business because of something. So what was it? For more lighter and comfort. Aisha, good start, good start. But Phil Knight believed in something more, and they still stick to the vision. So Phil Knight, um, anybody? That's the last one. So I want to see how deep I'm sure that a lot of people have worn Nike shoes. They wanted to appreciate greater athletes. Yes, they do. They do it even today. Just do it. Yeah, that's the tagline. But there was some reason why how the Phil Knight built this company. So he was importing goods from Tiger shoes from Japan. Then he eventually went to Taiwan and started building his own shoes, own brands of shoes. So here's the thing. He was an athlete, and in fact, he was being trained by the Olympian coach. But what he saw in his own troop is that a lot of health was being improved by people who were athletes. But he did not find a lot of people, focusing on health. So he felt that even if people could jog every day, and if they could, focus a little more on healthy habits, then he said that the world could be a better place. So he wanted to promote the spirit of athletics and sportsmanship through his company Nike. So even if you see today, the current CEO also promotes a lot of digitalization in Nike, because he believes that the world is a lot polarized today. People are having opinions. There is so much of racism. There is less inclusivity, equity today. So he believes that sports is that one thing that can unite people, and Nike is actually being the pioneer in promoting it. So why did I start with these stories? Is just because a lot of these companies, they have started with really really audacious goals, and not I don't think anybody would have thought that they would accomplish what they've accomplished in this short span of time. Of course, Tatas have been there for more than a century, and the rest of the examples that I've given have been there around for maybe 3 or 4 decades. But then in that span of time, they've become a global brand because they stuck to the purpose, and they continuously thrived to do something bigger in their own domain. So that's the reason why I said. But if you look at why people are talking about entrepreneurship, this is one of this is one of the reasons. Recently we even touched the 7 billion population. We were supposed to hit that by 2030, but thanks to all possibly the COVID, we have touched the 7 billion population. But by 2040, it is predicted that we would become an 8 billion population. I'm sure that the numbers would be more because of the enormous scale with which we are growing. But look at this. There are 600 million jobs to be created by 2040, and 85% of those jobs do not even exist, which means there is a lot of transformation that is going to happen. So that brings to a very critical question: who is going to create these jobs? We have to create 600 million more jobs, uh, but who is going to create these jobs? Who do you think? And they're talking about 85% of the jobs are not yet created. So who are going to create these jobs? Who is this entire globe relying upon? You can give a wild guess. This is not a CET. Yeah, I know that entrepreneurs are going to create the jobs, but can you categorize? Yeah, engineers, you guys are going to build. You guys are all searching for jobs, right? So who's going to create jobs? So where is the focus? Who is the government focusing on? I mean, why all of a sudden in India we are talking about startup India? We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, youth, right? So that's the critical thing, because in India we have the largest demography, which is youth. When I say youth, these are people between 18 to 28 age group, and we have the largest demography of Indian population being in this age group. So obviously the next set of jobs are going to be created by youth, because that's the largest population we have today. Now it's interesting to see that if these youth are the ones who are going to create jobs. Are we aspirational about entrepreneurship today? Do we understand what entrepreneurship is today? So that's something that I really wanted to reflect on today. So let's quickly dive into it. These are some of my, some of my best, quotes that I have come across. The first one is actually, can you guess who said that? The first one, anybody offers you a great opportunity, just say yes, and then you'll figure out how to build it. Who said this? Anybody? Come on, I'll give you 5 seconds. Any random guesses? Okay, so um, let me give you a while. So who built Virgin? Virgin Galactic, Virgin Music, Virgin Industries? Richard Branson, right? So the first quote is from Richard Branson, who said, if you really want to get into entrepreneurship, or if you really want to build something really audacious, and if somebody gives you an opportunity in that, even if you don't have the capabilities, just say yes and then start building as you go. A lot of us, we are very skeptical about things. When somebody offers us something that we have never done before, we kind of resent, and we kind of take a step back and say, that's not me. I have no clue of doing it. Most of us, when we are asked to do multiple things like a project, and perhaps we also have to deal with academics, most of us refrain from doing it. But here's a code that possibly could trigger that entrepreneurial spirit in you. But the second code, can anybody talk? Can anybody guess who said it? I'm not sure if you guys are too much into quotes, but it's a very interesting thing. Success is not about achieving great things, but it is about going from failure to failure without losing the enthusiasm. Who said this? You guys are tech savvy, so I'm sure that some of you would have Googled it. But it was said by Winston Churchill. So here's a quick. So I spoke about what entrepreneurs strive to do, but here's something that I want to really emphasize on. What are those 5 steps in which one could plunge into entrepreneurship? I'm talking about entrepreneurship not in terms of building a business, but I'm talking about being entrepreneurial. How can you still achieve larger things for yourself, or for your organization that you're going into, or for the organization that you're building? So here are first 5 steps. The first step is basically to build an audacious goal for yourself, and I'll come to the point later where I would just suggest you a quick activity in which you can think of, how do I come with an audacious goal for myself, or how do I find something that is more meaningful for me? So the first step is always in term. You can take a screenshot of what I've just shared. But here's the first step. So first step is to set up an audacious goal for yourself. But here, when you start an audacious goal and you are trying to go towards it, a lot of times things don't work. And maybe it would have worked for the first few months, or first year, but you will slowly see that things don't intend to go in the direction that you want to go, and it slowly starts declining. So your results are not as much as you have expected, so it slowly starts declining. So that's the phase when you're going through failures, and it happens to everybody. But here's the thing. So the people who are very mindful, who are aware that there is a failure that is happening, you see that there is a decline in the things that you're achieving, you can actually start talking to a lot of people who have already gone through those experiences, understand what is happening at that phase, and then build yourself certain principles from which you can improve. That is the first step. That what is the new strategy that you would build? When I say strategy, it's basically 2 or 3 steps that you want to change, that from what you have been doing previously, that can help you to improve once again, and then you will again come back. Yeah. So just picking up from the previous slide. So if you have followed those 5 steps, your journey basically looks like this. It's never linear. It's not you start from point A and you will reach the point B in a different time frame. But it is actually this cycle that each one of us go through. So it's how you start with an audacious goal. You plan for it, but then you take steps, and then you will slowly start declining in terms of the results, and then you will start discussing with other people who have had similar experiences, and then you will start having 2 or 3 different ways of doing it, a new strategy we call, and then you'll again start getting better results. Again, you will start moving in a upward direction. Again, you will start facing failures. Again, you will pick up a few things that you will learn from them. Again, you'll start building a new strategy, and so on. So that's why Winston Churchill said that success is not about building great stuff. It is about going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm, and it is always an incremental growth that you would see. So if somebody uh, who is who acknowledges this trajectory, then you are an entrepreneur all by yourself. So if somebody has accepted this kind of a growth, this kind of a trajectory, is willing to go through this kind of a journey, that means you're entrepreneurial already. So kudos to you, whoever is going through this journey, who possibly would have seen this kind of a journey. I think you just need a good set of people around you. But if people are not willing to go through this yet, whenever there is a failure, you kind of feel, why is this happening to me? I am not this person. I don't deserve all these things. And you're bogged down. You go through that, you go through, you lock yourself into your room, and then you don't come out, you don't talk to people, and you take failures very personally. If you are that person, then here's something that I'm sharing it with you, that can help you to understand that what you go through is something that everybody goes through. And if you accept it, and you know that this what I'm going through today, the failures that I'm going through today can help me to become a better person tomorrow, and I'm going to be more stronger tomorrow. And if you acknowledge that, you will actually grow far better than anybody else has, and you will have a successful trajectory. So here's my quick 4-step. This is from a book called as Ikigai, which I followed, and I've got great results. So here are those 4 questions that you need to ask. If you have a notepad and a pen, you can write it down, because I will translate it to you what it means. And here are 4 questions that anybody can ask to yourselves to find what is that 1 or 2 areas that I can focus on and I can really do well. So in order for you to go through the trajectory that I just showed in the previous slides, you need to have a very strong purpose, or you need to have a very strong cause, or you need to have a very strong motive. So here are 4 questions that you can ask yourselves in order to get that motive. The first question is, what do I love? Okay. So when I ask this question, most of you guys ponder upon, you will have a lot of answers. But here is what it means. When you say what I love, it basically means, what is that 1 or 2 things that you would love to do when you are totally lost? Like, for example, you don't worry about your food, you don't worry about water, you don't worry about the time that you're taking to do it. So what are those 1 or 2 things that you would do when you completely forget about the rest of the things? So that's what the question is. What I love is, what are the things you do which you don't worry about the rest of the world? And you would do it even if somebody pays you, somebody doesn't pay you, even if somebody gives you credit, somebody doesn't give you credit. What are those things that you would love to do? So that's what you love. So for example, for me, I love building projects. It doesn't matter whether it has got the end, whether somebody in the industry would take it. I don't care. For me, it is all about what I build. And I get completely lost when I'm building one of those things. So say, for example, if I see a student who is building a project, maybe it is at a small scale, I would rather go and sit with him, and I would also start tinkering with him, and I would start building it. So that's something that I love. But what am I good at? So if you want to answer this question, if you don't know the answers yet, here's a good way to ask: what are the things that others envy about you? What are the things that people are jealous about you? A couple of things, like maybe people are jealous about your personality. That's also thing that you're good at. Maybe that has come naturally to you. That's okay. But for me personally, when I wanted to answer this question, one of the things that stood out was, people told me that I'm really good at communications. I can speak well. I can persuade people well. So that is something that I'm really good at. So what are you good at? What do people envy about you? It could be your patience. It could be your calmness. It could be your ability to manage things or handle things differently. It could be about your ability to look at a complex tasks and break it down and make it clear to people. So there are so many different aspects that people would envy about you, and you would have heard that multiple times. So what are those things that people envy about you? That's something that you're good at. most of the times, if you are not very conscious, you conscious as in you're not observing yourself, you might not know what are the things that you're good at. But here's a good way to start. What do people envy about you? That's something that you're good at. The third thing is, what can I be paid for? Okay, so if you love something like doing projects, and I do love doing projects, but I'm also good at explaining things. So that means I can also get paid for teaching those concepts. So I can take a lot of sessions, I can take a lot of workshops, I can take a lot of consultations, I can mentor people, right? So these are all the things that I can get paid for. So if you combine the previous two, what I love and what I'm good at, and if you can combine it somehow, and then if you can offer it as a package, that's something that you can get paid for. And if you figure out what those are, what are people willing to give you money for, that's something that can become your profession. Okay. So a lot of people get into teaching if you love a particular topic, but at the same time, you have a very good skill of, handling people, talking to people, convincing them, persuading them, you become a good teacher. But here's the last point, which helps you to build a purpose. That's what does the world need? So for me, I pondered upon this question for a very long time. And the only thing that I can end up saying is world needs good leaders. And that's something that I am set out to. So the whole mission that Geeta madam was talking about, of how we are building youth entrepreneurs, and grooming them into becoming compassionate leaders. So that's the mission that is truly I'm set out for. So I believe that when we have good number of youth who are compassionate, who think about planet, who think about the well-being of others, and when they become leaders, they will be in a better position to lead the larger group of youth. And because youth inspire youth, they will resonate with them, and we'll have a larger base of youth in our country doing some marvelous things. So what does the world need today is something that you really need to answer. And the moment you answer that question, you have an audacious goal. If you answer the first three questions, which is relatively easy, you will have a goal, but the goal is more short term. And possibly if you become a teacher, you will have a short term goal. But if you have the answer to the fourth question, what does the world need? Then you will have an audacious goal, which is very, very long term. So if you answer these four questions, you pretty much you will have the you'll have the audacious goal. Also, you'll have more meaning to why you have set out to do that. If anybody wants to work on setting this, and if you're very serious about it, you can always reach out to me. I can help you to figure that out for yourself. I'm not going to answer your questions; that you'll have to do it for yourself. But I can fine tune these four circles for you, and I can help you to get your mission statement for yourself. So here are once you have found those purpose, here are things that you should do. The earlier the better, because you will have more time to experiment on things. The first thing that you will have to do is, if you have found a mission statement, you will then have to educate yourself around it. So for example, I wanted to focus more on building entrepreneurial mindset of this youth, because I believe that when you're entrepreneurial, you become better leaders, and you can do things in a far better way. So I wanted to educate myself on the concepts of entrepreneurial mindset. And then I wanted to educate the youth on the same. So here are a lot of activities that we do across different states, focusing on what activities could actually make youth more entrepreneurial. So I educated myself first, and then I wanted to educate my team, and then eventually the other people. Here's the second thing that you got to do. You cannot have you cannot do things on your own without having a lot of inspiration. So it is always good for you to engage with the community. When you meet people in your own community, or you meet people of a particular sector, you will drive a lot of inspiration. You will feel motivated to do things for them, because you see them every single day. You talk to them, you engage with them, you talk about your aspiration to them, and then they will bless you. They will they will talk to you in more emotional sense. They are not talking to you about money, but they're talking to you about larger purpose. That those words, those blessings, those engagements that you have will stick with you, and it will give you the power to do more things. Even when you're going through failures, they'll come with you, they'll help you out, and they'll pick you out of that the death of valley, sorry, the valley of death. where we tend to lose ourselves. So they'll pick you up. So engaging with the community, constantly interacting with them, not only helps you to get that inspiration, but also helps you to redirect your path. It will help you to focus on things that you really needed. So it will help you to realign yourself. So engaging with the community is the second thing that you got to do. But eventually you will have to start building a lot of things, because how else would you know what is the right thing for your community? What is the right thing that you can build for your set of audience, set of people? So you prototype, you build a lot of stuff, go and check with people, whether that stuff is really useful, whether that stuff is actually solving the problem. And then you constantly get validation from the users. You talk to them, you build something, you talk to them, you build something, you talk to them, check whether, is this the right thing that you wanted? Is this how you intended it to be? You keep constantly validating, come back to your drawing board, redesign it, build it, go back to the community once again, and then keep doing that iteration over and over again. So once you have done it, the last phase is where you're innovating. You have found something that people truly believe in, found something that people really love. Now start making it big. So that's the last phase of innovation, where whatever you have built now can reach the masses. So I started my journey in education 6 years back. Try to do it for a small group of people, my own friends. I started seeing a lot of results in my own friends, and then I started doing it for my campus. Then we started doing it for multiple campuses. Then we are doing it for the state right now, and we are doing it for, we are simultaneously doing it for 3 more states in country. So, my aspiration is bigger. I want to do it for my country first. Then I would want to go for another, I have plans of going to 2 more countries, maybe in the next 5 years. But that's how you start. You start with something very, very small, significantly small. Try to prove what your thoughts are, whether you can see it in reality. Constantly engage with them, constantly build for them, see whether it results in a better way. Once you have started gaining those results, talk to more people, expand your base, and then start reaching to the wider audience. So the last phase is innovation, where you take a lot of help from people and build it for the larger mass. So I have quick examples here. These are some of my early students who had built this. Today each one of them have a company. They have 20, 30 plus people in each of those companies. And we have reached a stage where a lot more students are coming up with solutions today. They're getting funds at an early stage. They're still in second year, third year, and they're building their own companies. And I aspire to see a lot more. So this is my journey. This is what we intend to build. This is where we feel that truly the future can belong to those people who can predict it. Just like how we are predicting today, and we keep constantly, improving our prediction. If you can do it too, I'm sure that you can become a great entrepreneur, and at the same time, you can build enterprises that are worth remembering. So maybe the next time I will have your logo in my presentation, and I'll ask people from other countries or other colleges to recognize that. So that's something that I feel you should aspire for. So I will stop there. This is not a Gyan session. This is something that I just wanted to, trigger your thoughts into entrepreneurship. So I'll stop there. We can have a discussion.
Thank you, sir. It was a very valuable information, and indeed, you never disappoint us in delivering the things which effectively comes to us. So we have got benefited for sure. I would like to welcome our Mohan Lakshmi ma'am to give her valuable feedback.
Hi all. Hello, sir. As always, your talks are amazing. Always keeps us on our foot. Like, and I think all our students have surely been benefited by, will surely get benefited events. So it was a very nice session, as always. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I thank everyone. I thank
For sure,
Dr. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Lakshmi, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Dr. Geeta Kiran, ma'am.
Thank you, Bindu. Thank you, Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. I thank Johnson sir for
Thank
giving
you.
his time
Thank you
and
all.
his information to us. I request everybody to switch on their video so that we can take a snapshot for the documentation, please.
Interesting. I also had 5 more minutes, but nobody's asking a question.
Yes, as sir told, if anybody is having any questions, you're free to ask him.
No questions. Does it mean that they just woke up? What, Achal? Okay. You can become a politician.
We have with us here SSIT Tumkur Principal, Dr. Ravi Prakash sir.
Namaskar, good morning. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Johnson,
morning.
I was telling about you to him. He was with us in MC Hassan. Now, from last 3 years, he is the principal of SSIT Tumkur, Dr. M.S. Ravi Prakash. Bindu, were you there?
Yes, ma'am.
When he was there in the college, were you there? No.
Probably
No,
the first
ma'am.
year.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. When we came, sir was not there, ma'am.
Mona?
Namaskara, sir.
Yeah, namaskara, namaskara. Oh, either MC lidra, Mysore lidra, nodbekku. Very nice. Nice meeting you all.
ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸರ್.
Very good, very good. ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಹಾ ಸರ್.
Yeah, the talk was very good. I went through the talk, so I enjoyed it. Thanks to Geeta coming here. So it's a nice thing that you are doing at ME-RIISE. Hopefully, I will catch you for SSIT also, Mr. Johnson.
Sure. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know whether you heard. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
sure,
did.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I thank everyone who has joined and made this event successful. Thank you.
So here's a question. Yeah. So my vision on so I don't have a vision on entrepreneurship because I already shared my vision for my organization that I'm building. But if you had asked me, what do I think about entrepreneurship? Here's my answer. So a lot of people who delve into entrepreneurship are, they do it because they want to become their own boss and so on. But I believe, entrepreneurship is like, imagine you guys are you guys are within the campus, and the campus has got, let's say, rules and regulations and everything, right? Now imagine the compound is like your boundary. Within that, everything is there. Health related activities, your insurance and all, everything is there. And anything happens to you, you know what to do. And the moment you step out of this boundary, there is no rules. People can do anything that they want. Now, entrepreneurship is like that. The moment you step out of that rules and regulations, right, you don't know what is going to happen next. Maybe, somebody would come and kill you. Somebody can rob you. You don't know when is the next, maybe an insect is going to bite you and you're going to have the virus, and so on. So entrepreneurship is like that. It is trying to figure out your way in a dark, and nobody has an answer, as opposed to a businessman. So a business person, in reality, he knows. For example, if there is a book stall, next to your college, and another person wants to put a bookstall, he pretty much knows what's the revenue going to be. If somebody is having a hotel, and he knows that the business per month is somewhere around 1 lakh, the other person who is going to put a hotel in the same location pretty much knows that this is my number, and I'm going to strive to that number, and possibly it is already defined. So maybe the service has to be good, maybe the food has to be good, the quality of the food has to be good, and so on and so forth. So people pretty much know the answers to these things, and they build their business around it. But in entrepreneurship, people don't know it. Who would have thought something on cryptocurrency could emerge? Who could have thought that decentralization of the whole concept of economy could emerge in cryptocurrencies? Or you would look at blockchain today. When COVID happened, people built a blockchain network to actually find out who are those people who are vaccinated and not vaccinated. These are things that people don't predict. These are things that get built by entrepreneurs, and then they wouldn't know the results of it in the beginning, but they eventually build it. There is this whole concept about the Chinese fund that is called Vision Fund, which was $100 billion fund. They incurred a loss of $20 billion trying to bet on entrepreneurs. I'm not talking about failures here, but I'm talking about the risk that person has taken in understanding which companies, he predicted which companies could grow and which couldn't. He did fail, but his lessons of $20 billion is going to be a lesson for a lot of other VCs in the community who are going to put their next money on those entrepreneurs. So here's something that is totally different, something that we have never witnessed before. We have witnessed a large industrialist who have taken maybe a century to build their empire, but we are seeing new gen entrepreneurs who are building an empire in a span of 3 to 5 years. That's unpredictable. Like for example, the physics wala guy, right, who became a unicorn. I'm not again professing to become a unicorn, but I'm just saying the journey. He spent about 6-7 years building his own tuition classes in YouTube, and all of a sudden, when disruption happened in education industry, where people could not find good teachers in a school, now they're coming back to these online portals where they can find the best teachers in online, and you can sit at your home and then you can still learn from the best teachers. Now that's a disruption that is happening in education, and suddenly you find one guy like physics wala emerging as a unicorn. So that's something that entrepreneurship is about, dealing with uncertainties and still making the best bet and emerging successful within uncertainties. So that's my take on entrepreneurship.
Thank you, sir.
What
Sir, you
are
have
some
one
of your daily habits as an entrepreneur? Okay. So don't expect answers like I get up at 5 o'clock and do this, that, and all that. So I don't do that. I don't do any of it. In fact, I get up at 6:30. I have daily chores, and then I read a lot, and I love reading a lot. I would say this is one habit that each one of you need to imbibe, and read books that are not fiction. Of course, I used to read fictions, but non-fiction books are the ways of gaining a lot of knowledge. But here's something else that you can do. If you're an voracious reader, great. It gives you a lot of knowledge. It gives you a lot of content to talk on. But I think it's also important that you surround yourself with people who are like you. So if you can maybe network with 1 or 2 entrepreneurs who have built good companies, it will help you to also structure your whole mindset around building companies. If you want to become a technocrat, surround yourself with people who are technocrats, and then they will give you a lot of inputs on what's happening around in technology, and then you will also start building things on technology. So my habits starts from a little bit of reading. So I read maybe not more than 20 to 50 pages per day. And then I start with my work, and then I spend a lot of time with my people, especially the ones whom I work with, and also the ones to whom we build products for. So that's a way that I keep constantly updating myself. But then maybe once in a week, I try to go to these places where a lot of other entrepreneurs meet from my sector, or I network with people completely random who are from different walks of life. So I have good mentors, with whom I meet at least once or twice in a month to learn their perspectives and what they have learned from their peers and so on. So that's how I constantly keep myself updated. So something that you can do at different scale. So quick books to read. I recommend. I know that a lot of you guys, if I tell you the books to read, you will not read. But I hear a couple of books that I would recommend that are very, very simple. For people who want to build wealth, a lot of people I know, this generation talks about, having financial freedom. So here are two books that I would recommend. One is called, The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a good book to start with. Richest Man in Babylon is the name of the book. The second book is Psychology of Money. Okay, so these are two books that I would recommend anybody to read. If you have never read before, start with The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a very small book, but you can go with The Psychology of Money, which is again a really good book. Of course, I'm sure that people would have read Rich Dad and Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hills. But I would recommend the next two books, that is Richest Man in Babylon and Psychology of Money. People who are interested in forming habits, because you asked me about habits, here's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a book you must read in order for you to build habits. I'm sure that a lot of people want to change their ways of thinking. So here are my two books. Here are two books that I would recommend. One is called Who Moved My Cheese. It's a very small book, but leaves a strong message. So it's called Who Moved My Cheese. And the second book I would recommend is Alchemist. So Alchemist is another book that you should read, which is very small, quick read. It's a nice book. There is another book for people who are little philosophical, who would want to learn about what's the meaning of life and so on, who are trying to find purpose. Not many of you would start finding a purpose yet, but I'm sure that there are some people in this crowd who are constantly asking, what's my purpose? What should I do? Why do I find everything meaningless? So you can start with a book called As a Man Thinketh, by Viktor Frankl. He was one of the the person who was held captive during the World War II in Auschwitz. So the book is called As a Man Thinketh, Thinketh. It's by Viktor Frankl. So these are some good books to start with. And once you read it, then you can come back and then you can ask for more books. I would recommend. So if there is any certain genre that you would want to learn, want to read, maybe you can just post it in the chat and then I can recommend you some books. So how to deal with demotivations and confusions. That's the reason. That's what I said, right? So quick take on it is you get demotivated when you don't have a reason to inspire you, right? So I said meeting with community, etc., is one way of keeping you motivated, but usually demotivation is done because of two reasons. One, you do not have a discipline in life. Okay, so if you don't have a discipline, that means you don't have a routine of getting up, you don't structure your day. Quite obvious that you kind of get bewildered by what is happening around. You don't have a focus. So when you don't have a focus, every bit of things start invading your mind. It kind of takes the energy out of you. So bring a discipline in your life. Have a routine. It could be as simple as you want to get up at 6:30, you get up at 6:30, but just get up at 6:30. And then if you want to cycle, you just cycle. If you want to walk around, you just walk around, but have a discipline. If you want to come to college at 8:30, you come to college at 8:30, but have a discipline. You want to sit inside a class, you want to finish your homework, you finish your homework. So have a routine. It kind of prevents you from, going negative. But in order for you to be motivated all the time, discipline is the first thing. Then the second thing is, keeping you motivated. Most of the times, we do not have the energy to keep ourselves motivated. So it is nice if you're around people who are always energetic. So if you surround yourself with people who are energetic, automatically you will find that energy for yourself, and you will start growing positively. And once that becomes a part of you, eventually you will become super motivated. So surrounding yourself with people who are always energetic and motivated is the most important thing. If you feel negative all the time, just check who are those people around you who always talk negative, who gossip about things, who constantly fill your mind with all this negative stuff. It could be within your family, it could be within your friends group. First, remove yourself from them, and then not from your family, of course, but start surrounding yourself with friends and people with whom you can talk to, share your views, and they can help you come out of it. Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Why do we overthink
sometimes?
Yeah, why do we overthink sometimes? I don't know. Maybe it's just human nature. I don't know. Yeah, so I will leave my number, just in case, if you guys, only if you want to really have some interesting chats. I will leave you my number, so you can always reach out to me. Off the hours, you can reach out to me. I will reply in WhatsApp. Don't ask me what was there for food and how was your day and all that. But otherwise, I'll always be there. Cool. Yes, Bindu. Bindu, I think you're on mute.
Bindu, you're on mute.
Thank you, sir. There has been a link posted in chat box for the feedback. I request everyone to give the valuable feedback so we can rectify our mistakes, if any, and we can correct it and be good in next events.
Have a great Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for your valuable time and information, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem, Bindu.